Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Look here. G-Mac and that little boy is sitting at the table in the kitchen. Young dude been crying. He got his gun in his hand. He don't know what to do. He don't know what to think. G-Mac just looked at him. They sat there staring at each other for a few minutes. And he said, man, how you doing? Young dude look at him, said, how you think I'm doing? Mad, just mad at the world. Just still angry. He said, how you think I'm doing? He said, man, I don't even want to live no more. And he looked at him and he said, I understand. What he was trying to do was make this young boy understand that you ain't in this by yourself, man. You ain't got to do this. You ain't got to live like this. You ain't got to live like this. See, a lot of people don't understand when you get caught in a situation, right, that you put yourself there. Yeah, you could say all kinds of things about all other people, right? Somebody lied to you. Somebody manipulated you. Somebody tricked you. Somebody paid you. But at the end of the day, even when you're being tricked, you're making a choice. Because you choose to listen to somebody that you were probably warned about. And let's say you weren't warned about them. You still made a bad decision that you have to answer for. And this young man was in a situation where reality started to set in. He started to understand everything that he had been told in the worst way. And he was scared. He was terrified. Because at this point in his life, what did he have left? He didn't have anything left. All he had left was that hope of not going to prison for the rest of his life. So G-Mac told him, he said, look, the clerk's alive. Your partner's alive. It's not as bad as you think. He said, but God gonna take care of that part. But listen, you got a choice to make tonight, right now. He said, give me that gun and I'm gonna be with you. And we're gonna go down there, we're gonna face this thing together, and I guarantee you, I ride with you no matter how long you go, because you going to jail tonight. He said, but no matter how long you there, I'm gonna be with you the right way. I'm gonna come and visit you every weekend. I'm going to help take care of you, but you got to live your life right. But until you get there, you can always call on me. What I'm telling you is you're not by yourself. And the young dude, hard gangster, he broke down, started crying. He never heard nobody talk like that. He had listened to these gangsters that had convinced him that this was the right way to live and all these different types of things. And even they had never talked like that. They had never told him anything like that. And he was looking and listening and trying to figure out, wait a minute, what is this? Who is this? Why should I listen to him? Why should I be concerned with what he's saying? And it was something about the way he said it that made him know that this was real. He knew that G-Mac meant what he said. He knew it. And he wanted to believe him, man. He wanted to believe him. But he was still scared. He was terrified. And he told G-Man, they were all the buster and all. He was like, don't be lying to me. Don't you be lying to me. Like he got some leverage in the situation, right? But G-Mac knew that was fear. I want y'all to think about that when you in a situation with a young person and they get to saying all these things to you and all this and that and yelling and screaming and shouting and all this and that. You know they scared. Do you not know that? Do you not know that they are afraid? They don't know what's going to happen, so that's how they respond. Out of fear, but we take it, we read it the wrong way, and then we mistreat them because of the way we read it. let's not keep waiting until a person gets to that point where they got to go to jail or they hurt somebody before we see the process that we know how it's playing out before we do something. I was recently in a conversation with somebody about homeless people, and they said there was this homeless man, and he went to this restaurant, and he drove up in this car, and we pulled up in the car. He went into the place and he asked for a piece of cardboard and a magic marker so he could write on there, "We'll work for food," right? And he drove up to the place in the car. So the person at the facility told him, "No, I ain't got no money for you. I ain't got no cardboard for you. I ain't got nothing for you. I'll give you a job." So he didn't take the job, right? He didn't take the job. And the person that was talking to me said he was a bum. He was a panhandler. He was trying to be lazy. He didn't want to work. He didn't want to take the job. And I said, "But do you know the process? How did he get to that point to where he was willing to beg for food? Do you know?" He was like, "Nah." I said, "Do you know whose car that was?" Like, "Nah." Then why are you sitting here assuming that car could have been stolen? The car could have been a family member's car. Whatever the situation was, we always tend to want to wait. We always tend to want to wait till they're at the homeless shelter before we help them. We don't want to help a person when they're in dire need. We want to wait for some reason, for something to tell us that, yeah, this is a real situation. And that's why we get caught in a lot of trouble with these kids. Kids are crying out every day for help. And they got predators out there that's waiting on that. Predators willing to put them in position to make them feel like they got some work, they got some power, they got some strength, but all they're doing is using them. Make them commit crimes and do all kind of things for them so they can tell them that they are somebody. And the next thing you know, you end up like this young man sitting at a kitchen table with a gun in his hand wanting to die. But he found somebody that really care about him. And he's questioning that because he don't know, he ain't sure. He ain't sure. We got to quit waiting. So as the story goes, right, he gives G-Mac the gun. And he tells him, he said, "Man, how's my friend? How is he doing?" And that was the first real thing that young dude said to G-Mac since he knew him. He was concerned about somebody else. So G-Mac got on the phone. He called the police. He told them to come there, you know what I'm saying, keep it quiet, low-key, that he had the dude. And he had the gun in his possession, and he was going to put it up, wait for them to get there and all this and that. Then he called his parole officer, told his parole officer what was going on. Parole officer said, "I'm on my way." So the parole officer got there at the same time about the police got there, and then they took the little dude into custody. They took the gun, and they shook G-Mac's hand, and G-Mac, he told him, he said, "Look, that's not what I'm needing. Do him right. He just scared. He just scared." He said he been misled like I was misled. So they took him into custody. Both of them ended up with 18 years in the penitentiary. Yeah, you still got to pay for what you do. But they didn't give him forever. They didn't. They didn't give him forever. But here's the thing about this. When you find yourself in a situation like this and you thinking that you understand what's really going on, take the time to get to know. I know it's hard to be worrying about somebody that's out there breaking the law, doing all this old stupid stuff, because it's stupid. Criminal behavior is stupid. It's stupid. But at the same time, all I'm asking, I'm begging, I'm pleading, please take the time to think about what's going on. I'm not telling you to ignore what's happening to victims. We should be concerned about victims first and foremost, right? But be careful how you define that. What makes a victim? Because in my opinion, those kids were victims too. Those gang members that manipulated them, they were victims too to an ideology that was given to them because they didn't have no hope in the situation. True or not is irrelevant at this point. The reality is what it turned out to be. So when do we get past that? I want y'all to think about that. Listen to me. Don't y'all forget to answer these questions to these these last 3 days, and you got another few days in the week. Answer all these questions. Send it to doingtimewithjoe@gmail.com, and you might be the one to win you that nifty 50, right? It's been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.